Today we are going to look at metalloids, and these simply elements that lie between metals and non-metals. They have got properties that put them in between. You find them in the last block of the periodic table, and if you put it up, you always find them this side. So here we have alkali metals, transition metals. Then here, where we have main group elements, is where we find the metalloids. Under the main group elements, we said we have main group metals, then main group semi-metals or semiconductors or metalloids, then the non-metals. So today we are going to look at the metalloids. You can call them metalloids, you can call them semi-metals, you can call them semiconductors. Like, they can go for all those names. And that is because of their characteristics. They have, everything that they have is more like the same like metals or non-metals. When you look at them, the examples we have boron, arsenic, thallium, have antimony, silicon, germanium, then polonium. Polonium is sometimes referred to as a metal because most of its characteristics take it way back into metals than the non-metals. That's why we put it last. And then the silicon and the germanium, these ones usually we put them under semiconductors, mainly because for them they have equal properties of metals and non-metals. Then the others, they have just average, like some properties are metallic, others are non-metallic, or they just have average of every property. Now, if you are to look at the properties of all metalloids, you will find that their conductivity is less compared to that of metals. Like they conduct heat and electricity fairly, moderately compared to metals. So they somewhat conduct. They conduct but not all that good. Okay, they are conductors, like semiconductors. Their conductivity lies between the metals and the non-metals. So you can't basically rely on them if you want to conduct, but they can do some part in conduction. And the other thing, they are semi-crystalline, like most of them will be crystals at room temperature, and then when you increase the temperatures, they melt and become liquids or stuff, or become soft things other than crystals. They are brittle. They can break. They are not elastic that you can stretch them like this, like the way we used to do with metals. The metals were ductile. You could bend them and do something with them. You could mold them, stretch them. For semi-metals, it's hard. When you do that, they'll break. They are more brittle. Like some of them will just break instead of stretching. They'll just break. Like some types of rubber. If you've seen these rubber, the erasers, the ones we use in class, that when you do it like this, instead of it stretching, it just breaks. So the same thing happens for the semi-metals. Then they are less dense compared to the metals. They're a bit light. Like you find that if you look at all the properties of metals, these ones are slightly below or slightly high. Like for the conductivity, they are slightly below. The ductility, they are slightly below. Brittleness, they are slightly high. Like they are more brittle, they can break before the metals do break. They have some conduct, others do not conduct, and that is it for them. Like if you're to highlight the properties, you're going to say they have average density. They are somewhat light, like some of them are light. They have average conductivity for thermal and electricity. Then they are not ductile. You're going to say they are somewhat brittle. They can break, they do not stretch. If you can have such properties, they are more or less like they are enough for the semi-metals. What we need to recall is that semi-metals lie between metals and non-metals, so they are just in the middle. And we have these as the examples. And for the start, for today, what you're going to do, you're going to go to your periodic table, color them, pick them and then color them. Get a color for them. You can color them green if you want, or you can give them a color which has not appeared before, which we have not used before, and then put a code for them that these are metalloids. Then the other thing, as assignment number 2, you're going to research about boron. Just go type it in your search engine, boron, and look at the boron elements. they are they have something interesting we'll be adding on when it comes to Wednesday on boron elements. Look at the characteristics of boron, how it is used, and what it is as an element. It is an interesting element as far as metalloids are concerned. So look at it before we get to the next class, and then just add on what you guys would have looked at. And when you get the answers, you can either type them or write them in your book and then take a photo and post on Class Dojo. That is all for today. Nice time.